Hi, this is Dave again. As we all know, family archiving and genealogy is very popular these days, and that gives me a good backdrop to talk about what I'm going to cover in this video, and that is journaling. You know, how you add lots of text to a page to tell the story that is contained in the pictures. We're also going to look a little more at texturing and masking as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new project, and I'll just go ahead and do a color background, and we'll go with an 8x10 again, and we'll go into the landscape, and I think I'm going to give it just a sort of a little shade of gray to start with here. Okay, so then I'm going to add to that a color panel. Now I'm going to show you a few things you can do real quick with a color panel that's kind of interesting. First off, this is going to be sort of a layered kind of background now, and that's sort of a new thing that we haven't introduced yet. And you can make a layered background just by stacking colored panels and giving them some definition. So I'll go in here on this one, and what I want to do is I'm going to go into the grayscale, but I'm going to texturize it. And to texturize it, I think I'll go down here and I'm going to pick, first off I'm going to go with kind of a plain pastel. And I think we'll just, you can see what it's going to look like that. Now I might have to darken that up to get it a little more definition. I think I will. I'll just go in here and select that again and maybe make it a little darker shade of gray. That'll give it a little bit more definition there, so you can see that it now has some definition to it. Now I'm going to go and mask it, and when you mask it, I'm going to pick a special kind of mask. It's going to make this look like it was torn out of a binder of some sort. And we'll just give it this mask here, and we'll apply that. Now to make that really stand off, I'll give it a shadow, and not too deep, but something like this. All right, so there it'll give it the definition that we're looking for, that it was torn out of a binder. Now, beyond that, what we can do is we can start adding stuff to it, and I think I'm going to get a couple pictures. We're going for kind of a like a vintage look here. So in my class pictures, I've got a couple photos of great-grandparents, and we'll just open them up and pull them into here. Now, that in the days that this was done, I think I'm going to crop this down. I'd like to catch more of Uncle Joe, so I'm just going to, or Grandpa George rather, and I'm just going to capture him about like so. And the same way with Grandma Mary, I'm going to go in here and capture more of her, something about like this. And I'm going kind of vertical on these the way they are, because I'll make her the same size as him, by the way. Maybe actually, let's see, do we want to, yeah, that's pretty good. And I think I'm going to give them a border, so we'll give them each their own little border here. Probably, let's give it a white border, and we'll match his to hers. And give them a shadow, just stand them off the page a little bit. And that's okay, and we'll match hers to him, like so. And now we've got our two photos. Don't want to move that. Let's lock that in place. You can always do that, and you can always unlock them, by the way. So I can move it later, but once I lock it, I can't select it. So it's going to stay in place and not be a problem for me. Now I think since I had that, I'm going to match the rotations here, so that they're now rotated to the same as our simulated tear out that we made. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some text, and to do that I think we're going to have to determine what kind of space we're going to have first. So I want to say across the top their name. So the first thing we might want to do is add a text box that's going to be up here that's going to say their names, which are George and Mary Weitzer. And let's auto size that up. And I think I'd like to make it look a little more like handwritten, and that would be done this way, just picking a script or a font that is a handwritten style of a font. And I think also it'd be good if that was to match the rotation so that it sits up here like so. Now we might want to add also what each of these people's names were below them, although it's pretty obvious, but we could put under there anything you wanted actually, but we'll just go with their names now. It's George, and he's gonna fit down here, of course, and we want to match to his rotation, that is. And then add also to that another text box that says Mary. Now keep in mind, as I say, these you can write anything in here. I'm just doing this for brevity, but we'll match that also to her, and we'll rotate accordingly. Okay, so here we've got them now where we might like them to be. Now we got this room over here to add our journaling. So we'll just add another text box, and we'll move this text box over here, and we're also going to match its rotation, and we'll put it over here where it's going to go. And I think what I'm going to do then, rather than, I've already prepared some text here that I can add rather than sit here and type all this journaling in. Now you can do that, or you can type it into Word, Notepad or something, and copy it and paste it, which is what I'm going to do. And so I'll just copy it and paste it right here and tell it to kind of auto size, and it might be a little smaller than we want. How about we go up to 24, something like that. And we said that might even be a little too large, so we'll just go down to 20 and see how that looks. Okay, so there we go. We got our journaling now. We might want to left justify it to be a little bit more like it would normally be, and actually could make it bold if you wanted to, just so it stands off. All right, so there's our journaling on the page, and we want to make sure that it fits real nicely, which it does right there. And that's pretty much a nice layout that we made real quick with these with ScrapPage Pro that would highlight our grandparents. Now if you wanted to make it even more authentic looking, there's ways you can do that too. You can make it look like, let's see, in my pictures, I have a little, under my design elements, I have a little thing that's kind of interesting. It looks like Scotch tape. Like these things would have been put in there with Scotch tape sometime in the past. And you can rotate these around so that they match. So if we set this one and we move this around so it's kind of at the same, it doesn't have to, you don't want them actually to be exact, but I do want to be able to skew them to make them fit. So I'm going to allow skewing on this guy, and I'll make it so that it fits up here and just kind of sort of clips on each one of these corners, something like this. And then what we'll do, you can see this is a little dark now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop its opacity down so you can, it's kind of a see-through, and I might even color it. Color it sort of kind of a yellow so that it looks like it's old. You know, the tape has kind of been there a while. So we color it, and there you get that effect. And to make it pop, we'll give it a little bit of a shadow. And there, now it looks like it's got the tape on there. Now I'll just go ahead and copy that, or duplicate it rather, and duplicate this image and move it over here for Mary. And we should wind up with something that's pretty much the same for her. So there. And just like that, it looks like we've got a nice vintage page layout of great-grandparents, and a little text over here that defines or describes their lives while they lived in the United States after they came to the United States. And that's the way it's done to make a nice, good-looking vintage page layout in ScrapPage. Till the next time, this is Dave. Bye-bye.